So I'm going to be answering Amy's first set of questions, or the first question in the set, talking about how are Lion King and Hamlet similar. So as we've already learned in our lecture video and through some of the readings, um, Lion King and Hamlet are similar in the way that Lion King is the kid-friendly version of Hamlet. So I'm going to list some of the similarities and also shed some light on the differences that come up in them and maybe were made so that it was more kid friendly. So the main characters in both of them are princes. So Simba is the son of Mufasa, the king of lions, so he is the rightful heir to, the throne, and Hamlet is the son of King Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. So he's a Prince of Denmark. And they both have two deep they have friendships to look towards support throughout the storyline. So in The Lion King, Simba has Timon and Pumbaa, and in Hamlet, Hamlet has Horatio. They also have love interests throughout the plot of the story. Simba has Nala, who he's been friends with since they had cubs, and they grow to get married and have their own cub. Hamlet has a love interest named Ophelia, and it's never really clear, how that ends or how deep his feelings were for her, but, nonetheless, it was still there. And both of their fathers reappear as ghosts, so they both have a message to give from the beyond. And in Lion King, it's a little bit more kid-friendly version, saying he appears to him in the stars and tells him, to take his proper place as king that Scar has taken from him. And Hamlet's father comes as a ghost and tells him to avenge his death, essentially by killing his uncle, which, is a little bit more heavy of a task and, is something that Hamlet struggled to decide to carry out. Um, and then they were both sent to exile following their father's death. So Simba flees after his father's murder and grows up with Timon and Pumbaa in exile after, instruction from Scar. And, it prolonged his, acquiring of the throne. And Claudius convinces Hamlet to leave and travel to England. So, they were both sent away from the setting of the murder and with doing what they were, rightfully supposed to do. So as you can see, the plots are similar. They both have different ends, which I'll allude to in the end, and they're made in different times. But essentially, the moral and internal conflicts are there with one having to face the situation, being without your father, and deciding how do I move forward, and even more so moving forward, it's a call for action. So they both have to avenge a loved one's death and you know do some action towards that. So by taking their throne, but some of the um, alluding to that, and a similarity is the internal struggles. Simba has to learn how to step up and take the throne, and Hamlet has to overcome his indecisiveness, as we read in his soliloquy. In his speech, To Be or Not to Be, so where he contemplates suicide rather than carrying out this task. And the differences involved in these stories is Simba's father was killed when he was a child, but Hamlet was an adult when his father was taken from him. And the endings were polar opposites. So with the Lion King, there's a happy ending despite the two casualties of Scar and Mufasa. He lived on to have a happy life in the jungle. While Hamlet, most of the characters, including most of the main characters, end up dying. So it's a little bit more tragedy and death stricken, but since it is a child film, there was the light at the end of the tunnel and the Hakuna Matata and everything like that. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that.